What's going on, everybody? Welcome back inside the Janitor's Closet for our Week 16 Best Bets show. Josh, we mention it every week about this clock tick, and I hate to be the glass half empty guy on this, but this is our third last show of the regular season, but it will be a fruitful show as we have three plays for the people for Week 16. Josh, we got teams clinching playoff spots. We got teams going in the opposite direction now that they're eliminated, maybe trying some guys out, trying out some new quarterbacks, some benching some guys.
Yep.
We
Yep.
always have guys playing for incentives around this type of year. So
Beauty.
as much as the clock is starting to hit midnight here on the NFL regular season, there is still a lot to be excited for on the betting side of things.
No question. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the incentive thing. I'm usually the kind of guy who I like to wait until probably next week to really start buying into the incentives and looking more at the props. So hopefully people can look forward, the viewers can look forward to that a little bit more in the coming weeks. Maybe a little few more bets from the closet here. But outside of that, like you said, man, it's been a treat to watch this NFL season. The amount of parity, the refreshing, especially AFC playoff picture, at least as it stands right now, is really interesting to watch. And so it's been an interesting season betting wise, man. And just with the plays that we found ourselves taking, we've been on a lot of favorites this year. I've noticed. We've obviously sprinkled in our fair share of dogs and stuff like that, but we've been on a lot of favorites to this year so far. And well, by the looks of my board here, it looks like we're going to continue that trend this week. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, we have a little bit of balance, which is nice on this slate for you folks. A game in the early slate, a game in the middle slate, and then a Sunday night football play.
Yeah,
Josh, let's start with that early window. I talked about it in the intro here about some of the quarterbacks being benched. That's what we have in Miami with Tua Tagovailoa. Quinn Ewers is going to make his starting debut for the Dolphins against the Cincinnati Bengals, who are also getting back T. Higgins. It looks like
looks like
Joe
it.
Burrow going to have his two weapons in Miami for the Bengals and Dolphins.
Yeah, really interesting game because at first when I looked at this game, I kind of thought to myself, I don't know if I really liked it. I didn't know if I really want if there was a spot that I wanted to buy. And then I kind of was digging a little bit deeper into it, and I really started to warm up to a side here. Cincinnati -4 for 2 units is going to be the play for us here. And I know a lot of people are probably thinking to ourselves, haven't you been watching Joe Burrow's press conferences? Haven't been seeing it? Is that really a team that you want to buy into? A team that maybe might be down on their luck right now after officially being eliminated, and they're not going to be making the playoffs this year. I understand all of that, but I also look at it from the side of I wonder if this is a Cincinnati Bengals team that can kind of breathe a little bit. They can exhale, they can relax almost in a sense. Obviously, Zach Taylor might feel like he's coaching for his job this over the next few weeks potentially. We know that Mike McDaniels is certainly coaching for his job over the next few weeks, but I think that this might be, especially after everything we've heard from Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, and I just think that this is a moment in time where I think maybe they can relax a little bit. Ever since Joe Burrow's come back, it's been backs against the wall, obviously, and every little mistake has been obviously highlighted. And Joe Burrow is spotlighted, I should say. And Joe Burrow is obviously every comment he makes has been spotlighted as well. That's also come over a stretch, man, where like the Cincinnati Bengals have been playing against some really strong teams as well. I look at their recent schedule. I mean, you're talking about New England, Baltimore twice, and Buffalo. As far as just like not only the stakes of the game, but also you're talking about a couple of divisional opponents, and then you're two against the same divisional opponent, and then you're talking about against the top two dogs in the AFC East right now in Buffalo and New England. And I just now you're talking about going into Miami with really low stakes here. I just think this is an opportunity for Cincinnati's offense to kind of really explode. I wrote in my own newsletter at the end of last week was, if a lot of people are having maybe, sour thoughts about Joe Burrow going into the semifinals of fantasy playoffs this year, I give full vote of confidence. I think Joe Burrow is in a prime position to bounce back this week. That aside, I also look at since this is a a great spot for the Cincinnati Bengals defense as well. You're talking about Quinn Ewers is making his first NFL start in this game. I don't see a better opportunity for this defense to kind of refine their footing potentially a little bit, or at least look a little bit better than they have. Again, you're talking about Drake May, Lamar Jackson twice, and Josh Allen have been the quarterbacks that they played over the last month. And now you go and you get a rookie quarterback in his first start. That's the spot that you want. I know that it's on the road, but that's the spot you want. Interesting stat here that I think really plays into this matchup. Mike McDaniel has been terrible in this spot as far as on short rest. You saw the Miami Dolphins play the Pittsburgh Steelers on Monday Night Football just this past week. Mike McDaniel, pardon me, has coached in 13 games where the Dolphins are on short rest. Miami is 3-10 straight up in those games, and they are losing on average by 8.2 points per game. And Miami has also lost 7 in a row outright in this spot. On short rest, McDaniels in 8 career games as an underdog on short rest, which this is the spot for Miami this week. McDaniels is 1-7 straight up, losing by an average of 14 points per game. And so, again, everything would tell you Mike McDaniel is just not, whether it's at home, whether it's on the road, and especially as an underdog, as he finds himself in this week with a rookie quarterback making his first start. Mike McDaniel just isn't the coach to get his team up in this spot. It's been proven time and time again. And so that is why we are taking Cincinnati -4 for 2 units. We're taking a team that, yes, might be down in its luck, but I'm also buying into the fact that I think this is a team that can relax a little bit now and just go play some ball and hopefully end the season on a strong note that they can carry into 2026.
And you also gave us that stat last week about teams kind of bouncing back after being shut out. That is the case as well for Cincinnati this week after being shut out last week.
Yeah.
Really no better offense to be invested in than Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins. We'll ride with the Bengals -4 in the early slate. Josh, as we move to the middle slate here, last week on Thursday Night Football, the Atlanta Falcons, we got vintage Kirk Cousins. We had a career day from Kyle Pitts as he is looking to earn a bag in free agency this upcoming summer. And they're also going to get Drake London back, are the Atlanta Falcons, as they travel to Arizona. Yeah. We know that connection's working with Jacoby Brissett and Trey McBride. What do we got in this game here, Falcons and Cardinals?
Yeah, so the play here is going to be over 48.5 for 1 unit. And yeah, on paper, this is another game between 2 non-playoff teams. And so maybe a lot of people might look at it and say, snooze, snore. I don't know. I don't know if I want to buy in this, especially what a higher total at 48.5. You want the over with these two offenses? Absolutely. Jacoby Brissett and that Arizona Cardinals offense, as you Jacoby Brissett fantasy owners know very well, they are slinging the rock all over the yard. They are not running the football these days. They are letting Jacoby cook a little bit there, and they've been doing their fair share as far as getting the total over. You look at the over 48.5 for 1 unit is the play. I don't know if I actually said that. I look at recent games from the Arizona Cardinals, man. What a stretch of defenses and defensive coordinators that they've been playing over the last 6 weeks or so. Go back to November 9th is when this started. You get the Seahawks and Mike Macdonald, and the Niners and Robert Saleh, and the Jags and Anthony Campanelli, and then Todd Bowles and the Bucks, and then you get the Rams, right, and Chris Shula, and then you get the Texans, right, and Matt Burke, and it's just these are a gauntlet of defensive minds and defenses that these Arizona Cardinals have been playing and still putting up points to help the total over the last 6 weeks or so. Now they get the Atlanta Falcons, who I don't think I need to say much. The Atlanta Falcons are allowing receivers to run all over them right now. They're allowing these pass-happy offenses to have their way in games against them. The Arizona Cardinals have allowed 85 points over the last 2 weeks. Okay, and yeah, one of them was against the Los Angeles Rams, but the other one was against the Houston Texans offense that's really starting to heat up these days. But nevertheless, you're talking about a defense that is just not good right now, and as far as the Arizona Cardinals, and then on the other side, as far as playing the Atlanta Falcons defense, and Atlanta Falcons defense that has been getting cooked in their own right. I also look at the Atlanta Falcons, and you mentioned Drake London coming back. This is a different offense when Drake London comes back, and especially with Kirk Cousins, the way Kirk has been playing as of late for the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons, save for the very first game that Kirk Cousins actually became the starter after Michael Penix got injured. Outside of that first game, I think it was against Miami. Kirk Cousins and the Atlanta Falcons offense has been they've been putting up points, you know what I mean, to help the total get over. And now they go against a vulnerable Arizona Cardinals defense. So these are two bad defenses that are allowing teams to pass all over them. I look at the Atlanta Falcons getting their big pass catcher back. Obviously, Kyle Pitts is involved. Bijan Robinson is involved. And then again on the other side, Jacoby Brissett is slinging the ball over the yard here, and this Arizona Cardinals offense is absolutely putting up points. I think this total is too short. I think this game flies over it. So we're going to take over 48.5 for 1 unit in this spot.
All right, Josh, and let's end off here with Sunday Night Football. Pittsburgh Steelers traveling to Detroit to face the Lions. The Steelers have a tight lead in the AFC North as the division leaders there, and the Lions are currently the first team on the outside looking in the wild card race in the NFC.
Yeah, you want to talk about spots, man. Detroit Lions coming off of a loss and at home. That is that if there's a spot in the NFL to buy into, it is this one right here. And we actually played against it a couple of weeks ago. You might remember, I believe it was the Dallas Cowboys that we had our money on against the Detroit Lions. We had +3, and I was very confident in it with the Dallas Cowboys in that spot. Detroit went and won that game, man, and that's just what Detroit does. You know what I mean? They handle their business, and so when especially coming off of a loss. So Detroit -7 for 1.5 units is the play here. Listen, I kind of just talked about the stretch of defenses that the Arizona Cardinals have kind of faced here. How about the stretch of offenses that the Detroit Lions have been playing, as far as the Rams, the Cowboys, the Packers? I mean, shoot, you could even go and put the Giants and Jackson Dart in there as well, as far as the Eagles as well. They can contain the Eagles, but big names obviously on the Philadelphia Eagles. But again, it's specifically in the last 3 games, Rams, Cowboys, Packers, that they've been playing in this last little stretch. And now they get the Pittsburgh Steelers. And listen, I understand Aaron Rodgers has had his fair share of success over there at Ford Field in his career. But this obviously isn't mid-30-year-old Aaron Rodgers. This isn't prime Aaron Rodgers that we're getting in this spot. And this is a Pittsburgh Steelers offense as a whole that has just been streaky, right? It's been inconsistent. And yes, I understand that the Detroit Lions defense has been vulnerable through the air recently, but this is also a Pittsburgh Steelers offense that isn't necessarily taking the field in chunks and pushing the ball deep downfield. And so I also think with the step down in class that this is for the Detroit Lions, as far as on the defense side of the ball, I'm confident that Calvin Shepard can get this unit up and get them playing well. Maybe a get right spot for the Detroit Lions defense as far as we're concerned, as they're concerned. And then on offense here, man, TJ Watt's not playing in this game for Pittsburgh. Nick Herbig is not playing in this game for Pittsburgh. This has already been a vulnerable defense at times, and now you've got Detroit at home coming off of a loss. I don't see much resistance here from the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. I think that, and then you want to talk about a team that is not really equipped for a track meet. It is the Pittsburgh Steelers. So yeah, Detroit Lions -7 for 1.5 units is the play in this one. We're betting the spot, man, and that is Dan Campbell and Jared Goff coming off a loss.
All right, so there you have it, folks. 4.5 total units for Week 16. 2 favorites and an over. A lot to cheer for. We obviously have fantasy football semifinals, I believe, for most people. So good luck if you're playing in those. And let's enjoy the show while it's still here. Week 16. We'll see you folks back here for our Week 17 Best Bets video right here next week. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment down below. We appreciate you folks. You can find us on X at TJC Bets. And don't forget to subscribe to our free newsletter, which will be in the link of this video description. We appreciate you folks tuning in. We'll see you next week. Take it easy.
Yep.